So I just wanted to give a shout out to Brad Dove, Shelly Dove, Brad Engler, Jacob Gorley, Jenny Walker, and myself. And so those are the folks that kind of head up some things, but certainly I know a lot of you in the room volunteer throughout the season, and just want to really express our gratitude for all that everybody's done in that regard. To our coaches, it's a long season, right? 4 or 5 months, and maybe even some more during the summer. So just thanks for your dedication and bringing the energy every time you're with the kids, and just sacrificing your time. So just thank you so much for that, and we can't express enough what that means to the club in terms of just keeping everybody running. So thank you. And then to the parents, I know a lot of you are not just doing basketball. Some of you might have more than one kid in the program. It's Grand Central Station, so definitely appreciate everything that you all do to keep your kids coming to all the practices, all the games, and anything else that we have going on as a part of the club. So we certainly couldn't do it without you, and thank you for entrusting your kids to be a part of the program and work with our coaches. And then just lastly, real quick, to our sponsors. We have some in the room, and they're awesome, and they just help enhance the experience that we are able to provide as a club. Even we see Nate bring in boxes and boxes of breadsticks, and that's not the only thing. There's others that have stepped up, and so I just want to encourage everybody. I think probably everybody's got a program. Like, look at the program and see who's supporting our club, and try to be purposeful and support them back as well. So just wanted to give that shout out to the sponsors. So I know I'm the last person probably between getting to the awards, so let's get right to it and give most of this time to the coaches and the teams.
Before we do the teams, we have an award that several years ago we started called the Wildcat Award, and Coach Worley is going to present that today. I'm not sure where he is. So the Wildcat Award is given to anyone in the club. It can be a parent, grandparents, anyone who has made a lasting and significant impact on the club. So Coach Worley is going to give this year's award recipient.
There we go. So I'm Jacob Gorley, and I get the pleasure of awarding the Wildcat Award. This is a fun award. This is somebody that, or a family, or maybe we just saw that really not only dedicated themselves to Wildcats, but have done maybe some things several years, several teams, just been involved and done a great thing in our organization. So I get the pleasure of, this is somebody I've worked with a lot in the Wildcats. This year was especially tough for this individual as he worked through several family events going on, but still coached. And this is also somebody that has coached all levels, boys a lot, girls a little, and got in the, boys and girls are just different, right? That's the way God made us. And so it's fun to learn the different pieces of that. So I think I could call this person a friend too. I interact with him a lot and really have enjoyed the pleasure of coaching with him for the last 3 years. So could I have Coach Blue come on, please? When we did this, as the board worked through it, we tried to collage together a lot of the teams that you've coached. And you'll see on there, I don't know that we got them all, but we got a lot of them because you've had kids go through the boys, the girls, and vice versa. So we really appreciate you and wanted to award this to you.
Continuing the awards now to get us kicked off with the teams, we're gonna start. So we operate under a ladies first procedural method here. So it will throughout we will start with 10 girls, and we will go 10 girls, 10 boys, 12 girls, 20 boys. So we can have the 10 girls team and coaches come up, please. And as we go through, just keep in mind you don't know what you're next, right?
I am Shelby Dickinson, for those that don't know me, and Kendra is my assistant coach this year. Both of our daughters played on the team, but we had the pleasure of coaching all these girls and just had such a fun season. When this season started, we weren't necessarily focused on winning or losing, but we were focused on becoming better teammates, better players, and better people. I told the girls at the start of the season that I had a few goals for them. To play hard, to play together, to play smart, and to play physical. It was very apparent that not a lot of fouls get called at the younger level, and so in order for them to compete, they were going to have to want the ball more than the other team. And they did that. We talked a lot about fundamentals from the very beginning, and I'm sure they got really tired of Coach Kendra and I telling them to do something over again because their pass wasn't how it should be, or their shot didn't have their elbow in or have good form. And so there was a lot of redoing of things and doing the same drills in practice over and over and over. But that paid off. The teamwork, the effort, the way they trusted in each other and encouraged one another, the way they learned how to pass the ball to each other and work as a team, that was what allowed us to have so much success in the second half of the season. We won the last 7 of 8 of our games, starting with winning the Fort Wayne tournament by beating the Hawks. We lost to them twice already in the season, so to beat them for the championship in Fort Wayne was a really big deal. And then we went to win on 7 more games, finishing in 3rd in regionals, also again beating the Hawks for 3rd place. Those moments were just wins for us, but they really showed how far the girls had come together working as a team. It really showed how hard their hard work paid off. And our only loss in the last part of the season was against Nova Whitley. And at the beginning of the season, they beat us by 26 points in one of our early games. And in regionals, they only beat us by 8. And so that was such a testament to how the girls played. And most of that game, we were in it together. But as we know, during regionals, they're tough games. They're physical. But they beat us in the games. That was totally gross. No, that's okay. But they each had different gifts this year, and I just want to say something quick about each girl as we give out awards. I gave them all awards at our little team party, but just to reiterate, since a lot of you don't know our youngest players. Addie also the youngest player at 7 years old, playing on a senior team, and she did fantastic. Every chance she got, she fought for a jump ball, which was so fun to see. Ava, you brought something that every team needs, which is joy. Your energy and your personality, the way you kept things light while still playing really hard, was something that everyone encouraged everyone on our team. Phoebe, you did things that didn't always get noticed, but mattered so much. You set good screens, you made plays happen, and you were getting a lot of skills in a lot of games. You also would go out and play feisty when I would say, hey, go out and play feisty. That other team's being really physical with us. And that would change the energy of the game. Gianna, you reminded us all of what perseverance looked like. You kept showing up, you kept smiling, you kept trying and working hard, and that kind of attitude is something that everyone should look up to. Selah, you getting injured in the middle of our season was such a bummer for all of us, for you and for your teammates. But you were a leader this year in a way that was helpful just off the court. You encouraged all of your teammates, and they all looked up to you as a mentor, whether you recognized it all the time or not. Ella, you brought consistency and effort every time you stepped on the court. You showed what it looks like to be dependable and give your best no matter what. There were a lot of times where I thought you were tired and I would ask you if you needed a break and you would say, no, I'm good. Sophia, you brought a calm confidence to our team. You didn't need attention to make an impact. You just showed up and did things the right way and kept trying. And you rebounded for us, which resulted in over 120 points this season for you, which was fantastic. Callie, you brought effort and heart to everything that you did. You didn't shy away from the hard things, you leaned into them. You showed what it looked like to keep working and keep improving and keep showing up. You navigated getting double and triple teamed almost every game, which resulted in a lot of fouls that didn't get called. So you really grew mentally this year to navigate what that looked like on the court. Jade, you were always giving 110% in all that you were doing. You played all over the court all season. I would see you on one end and then find you down on the other end of the court scrapping for the ball. So you might not have been one of our top scorers, but you stopped the other team from scoring a lot of the time. I have seen all of their confidence grow this year. I've seen their effort increase. I've seen these girls become players who stepped onto the court and really believe that they belong on there. And that's what I'm most proud of. They work together as a team, and each of them has been different gifts that came together in a really special way. I'm really proud of each of you for not just how you played, but for who God has created you guys to be. It has been such a joy to coach each one of you. And so now we have the awards from the Wildcats. With Selah getting hurt, we made her our assistant coach. So she's going to come down and give the awards to you guys. But before that, I wanted to talk a little bit about Selah. She had high expectations for this year, and we have high expectations for her this year. She got injured in the middle of our season and got pulled off the court and said, it's not broken, I can keep playing, I can keep playing. And I put her back in the game and she played, and then she played the next game and also played really hard in that game too. Come to find out, it was broken. So she had to navigate all of the disappointment and frustration of what it looked like to work really hard with the team for half of the season, and then not to feel the benefits of getting to play when we were really winning the second half of the season. But she stayed and she showed up for her teammates and she encouraged them and she struggled through that, which is why she's getting the Christian Character Award for our team this year. Our next award is going to our most improved player, who was someone that really stepped up into a different position after Selah got injured. She really had to figure out what it meant to play down low help defense and to set good screens. I felt like she was always seeing what was going on the court, and she was very dependable. And at the beginning of the year, I felt like she maybe didn't know what her role was, but she really grew into that throughout the season. So Ella is getting our most improved player. For our defense award this year, it's going to Jade. She was constantly up for the challenge. If the other team had a player that was scoring, she would ask, let me guard them, let me guard them. She was constantly trying to get steals and all over the place on shutting down the other team. So our defensive work goes to Jade. Our last award, I'm kind of breaking the rules because we could not decide. I didn't say this earlier, but I really wanted the perspective of our players and our parents because I feel like there's a lot of things that I miss as a coach. When you're coaching, you don't always see everything that's going on. So all of our teammates and parents voted on these awards actually. And then Kendra and I have the final say, but it really went with what we were already thinking. And so for our MVP award, we really felt like two girls were the MVPs. We could not, we were going back and forth, and the voting was 50-50 as well, so that didn't help. So, our two MVPs for the season are Callie and Sophia. So, this is our Timmy Girls team. Thank you so much.
talk about the season as a whole. We finished with a 7-10 record. If you look at the wins and losses, you're missing the real story of this team. Plus, if I'm being honest, a few of those losses were just character building exercises, and it's probably a little bit more than my heart rate can handle. But our goal from day one, it wasn't just to stack up victories. It was to build intentionality in how we practice, how we competed, and how we treated each other. I watched each and every player on this roster start this year as one player and end as a completely different player. Some of you grew in skill, some in confidence, and a few of you grew about 4 inches tall. That unselfishness and grit are exactly what these awards represent tonight. It's about invisible work, the sweat in the gym when no one else is watching, and growing throughout the season. There were many moments that defined this team. The one that stuck out the most to me was our last game. It was at regionals. It was essentially the perfect final exam for this team. It was a mix of every sprint, every drill that we put together throughout the season. And this whole team, whether they were on the bench, on the floor, played completely unselfish basketball, always looking for the open man, and believe it or not, actually listening to me. They finished the season playing their absolute best, whether a player played in key moments or truly sound on the bench. So as we get through, we're going to go through the awards. Our first award this year is Most Improved. This award goes to someone who did the little things when no one else was watching. And since he's quite little, it made doing those things much harder. He went from being one of the smaller players that lacked the confidence, becoming one of the most reliable starters and one of the best defenders on my team. Year 2026, 10U Most Improved is Jordy Walker. His next award, Christian Character. Basketball is just a game we play, the character is who we are. So this player's character was on point from the first practice to our last game. This player's character served as a servant leader. He received very little playing time, but never complained. He was the first person to encourage a teammate when they were down, the first to pick up a teammate up off the floor, and the first to celebrate someone else's success. Your 2026 10U Christian Character Award goes to Kendra. And our defensive MVP. Defense isn't always flashy, but it's how we typically win the game. This player turned steals into points almost every single game. He never took a play off. He made an immediate impact every time he stepped on the floor. And every second he stepped off, we missed him. Your 2026 defensive 10U player is Bennett. And our last award, Team MVP. Our final one goes to the player that was sometimes our second loudest player. No one can beat Indy. He's always the loudest. At other times, he was silent. He led by example when no one else was watching. He was reliable. When our team was at its best, it was usually because this player's ability to be unselfish, crash the boards, and score. Your 2026 MVP is Isaac McDonald.
So we're going to do pictures on the bottom. Or you can just stand right now. Does that work?
Perfect.
Look at the end of the island.
Okay, everybody look at me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, team boys. Girls.
This is my first year to coach for the Wildcats. Besides, well, I was last year as an assistant coach for 12U, and then this year I was really humbled to be able to do this. I wasn't sure if I was qualified, but I love basketball. I love competitive sports. I love competition, so I was really excited. I do want to thank my husband because he probably got so sick of me coming home after every game and analyzing and rambling and being like, what do you think about this? What if we did that? I don't know, we're not doing this one. And he was probably so annoyed, but he never acted like it. So thank you so much. And then Angie Archer I feel like we were more co-coaches this year rather than her being my assistant. I feel like we're a pretty good team, and I really enjoyed the year with her. They were new to the Wildcat Club, and she just stepped right in and just really helped this year. I feel like we would not be the team we are without her, so thank you. Thanks to the parents for getting their kids to practice. We only had 7 rows this year, so I feel like when you only have 7 players at every single practice, every single game, we need everybody. We can't, miss people. So I really appreciate just your commitment to getting the kids, to getting your girls to practice. So this season was so much fun, and I just feel like this is a really special team. Having only 7 players, I was a bit concerned about how that might go. I told the girls at the beginning of the season that I only had 2 rules. One was that they could not get hurt, ever. And the second was that they could not be sick, ever. And I think they did a pretty good job. I think Cecilia had 1 week where she was down and out, but did not miss a game. She showed up to that Columbus game and did not complain. I was the one who was like, Cecilia, sit down. Cecilia, I think you're not feeling great. And she's like, no, coach, I'm fine. So, thank you for, she just showed up and I could tell she was not quite ready, but she was there. So, there were so many successes that we had this year, but also the girls had to learn to handle a few really tough losses. And some really high-pressure games when we got to state and to regionals, and I feel like they learned a lot from that. Our team went 21-4 this year. So we started the season really well with 3 wins, and then we had our first loss at the Crossroads Clash to the West Michigan Hornets, who we would see again in the regional championship, and we'll talk about that in a moment. It was a bit of a chaotic game. I feel like I left that game and I was like, what just happened? I feel like we were all over the place. It was early in the season. I feel like we just weren't quite playing as a team yet. But we left that tournament. We finished strong, and then we went into the Fort Wayne tournament 10-1. And I was really excited to have some really good competition at the Fort Wayne tournament for the girls. I feel like to grow, you need competition, and I was really looking forward to that, to playing some of those teams. I knew we would probably see some tough teams at that tournament. So we had a first tough round. We played Noble Whitley and lost that game. But I'm most proud about how the girls handled it. They came back the next day and we finished the tournament strong with 2 close wins against Fort Wayne Guard and the Chat Chariots. We won our next few games and then had a really close loss to Heritage Christian's fully 7th grade team. So they were a little bigger and a little stronger than us, but we played right with them and almost had that. So it was a really good competitive game that we needed heading into the state tournament. We entered the state tournament 17-3, and we knew that we had the potential to meet up with Noble Whitley again. And I think Coach and I really won that. I think the girls did too. Yeah. We had a bye in the first round. We beat Northside Lions the second round, and then that put us against a really tough Cash team in the semifinal at state. And if you were in attendance at that game, I feel like the entire Wildcat Club was at that game, that Cash game, our semifinal game, and it was really fun. It made it really fun for the girls. The cheering section was so awesome. So if you were there, thank you. It was just really amazing to have the support. We pulled off that win by 1 point, and it went down to the wire. In fact, Cecilia, it was tied 34-34, and she was fouled, and she was at the line, and her dad is keeping the clock, and he's praying, we're all praying, and we knew she was going to nail it. She nailed that first free throw and won the game for us. So. Going into that state championship against Noble Whitley. It was the second time that we'd seen them, and I think we were a lot more ready for that game than we were the first time. The girls played really tough. We did end up falling short in that game, and that was a really tough loss. I think the girls, that was a tough one. But I think the girls were so resilient. We shook that loss off. We set our sights on regionals, knowing that we would see Noble Whitley again, and that in regionals, and we were ready. At regionals, we won our first 2 games against Chase and the Lapeer Lakers, and then our semifinal game was against Noble Whitley. So we had to get past Noble Whitley to get to that championship. I think Coach and I spent a lot of time that evening talking, analyzing, strategizing. We sent the girls some things that evening just to read through, but we also wanted them to just have fun. Like, this is for 12 and 13, 11, 12, 13-year-olds. We're not, this should be fun. Basketball is fun. So we wanted them to have fun, play as a team, and just enjoy it and not feel so much pressure. We had nothing to lose, right? We had already lost twice. We had nothing to lose. So we went into that game, and from the very beginning, it was an 8 a.m. game, and everything, and the coach went, man, an 8 a.m. game, okay, we can do this. The girls showed up, and we did win. We beat Noble Whitley for 24-23, and it was awesome. So Angie, Coach Archer, recited 1 Timothy 1:7 to the girls in the huddle before the game. It says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And we told the girls we wanted them to play and have fun and just play basketball for him. The pressure was not on us, and they had success, and it was awesome. So we enjoyed that moment, but then we had West Michigan to play in the championship at noon that day, and I think it felt like the girls went into that game with just joy and freedom. Like, we already kind of won the championship. We beat Whitley finally, and now we can just have fun in this game. And they ended up defeating West Michigan for the regional championship, 28-23. They just showed so much humility, sacrifice, true love for one another in the game of basketball and for the Lord. And it has been a joy to see God use this game of basketball to shape and mold these young ladies, because in the end, there's nothing more important than serving the Most High God and glorifying Him in all we do. So, okay, let's get into these ladies. So I love Bree. This is the first player I want to talk about. So she has such a sweet and willing spirit. She was always ready to encourage her teammates and play wherever and whenever we needed. She was thrown into almost every position this year and did exactly what the team needed. She played in the post. She played on the perimeter. She ran the baseline in her zone offense sometimes. Every time she went in, she said, "Where am I playing, coach?" Because she wasn't sure. So it was, you need a player, a very versatile player like that to come off the bench. So we really appreciated that. Anytime she was in the game, she played hard. When she was on the sideline, she was cheering hard for her teammates. I remember in our second game of regionals against the Luther Lakers, in the third quarter, Isla drove to the basket and got an and one, and everyone went crazy. I remember you particularly on the video, so it was awesome. So that was really fun. So this year we are going to give Isla the Teach as a Team Spirit Award this year. So you can come get that. She is a solid player who can come off the bench in any situation and make a difference. Kyra is a fierce competitor. I feel like sometimes she doesn't know that about herself, but she is. I'm so proud of the way she served her team this year. She embodied what it means to be selfless and always played whatever role was needed in her. She encouraged her teammates and cheered them on. She showed up to practices ready to work hard and give her best. She truly demonstrated what it means to be a team player. Whether going hard after loose balls, getting in on all those jump balls, so like every jump ball on the floor when Kyra was in, she was in there, or just shutting her players down in defense. She played awesome defense this year. I watched her confidence grow, and it makes me so excited to see what God has in store for her on and off the court. So she is a joy to coach. And this year, Kyra is going to get the honorary sixth man award. Olivia was new to the Wildcats, and she came from a club which we will not mention. So she is not new to basketball. She jumped right into this team like she'd always been here, and I know it can be tough sometimes to be the new girl on the team. But she brought passion and confidence and fundamentals, and she just always played fearlessly. She had a great attitude and a smile on her face all the time, always willing to put in the work. Coach and I decided this year to give some weekly challenges. We got the idea from another coach, and we gave these weekly challenges during the season for the players, focusing on skill development, conditioning, because as a coach, when you only can practice 3 times a week and for an hour and a half, you can't get enough conditioning. So we had to tell the girls, we have 7 players this year. We have to be conditioned and you have to put them up. And they did. So Olivia was always the first one to ask me, "Coach, it's in the challenge yet. What's the challenge?" Every time there was we recited, I think, at least half of the Wildcat Way, and she was the first one to come to me at practice and say, "Oh, I've got it memorized, I want to tell it to you." And just, she was always wanted to work on her own, and that's made me better. A highlight about Olivia this year was so fun was our first state game against the Northside Lions, which we had beat 34-15 earlier in the season. We were just having a really rough first half. And we were down 4-5 at halftime. Yes, we only scored 4 points in the first half. Toward the end of the third quarter, though, Olivia got a steal, and she took the ball all the way down the floor. And she had 2 defenders chasing after her, and she went up for that layup, and she was fouled really hard. And I will never forget, she turned around, and I won't make her do it, but she did it. And it was awesome. So I think it just got the momentum going. Her mom says she has brothers, and that's why, but I loved it. So I won't forget that. She also hit some big threes for us in some games to get the momentum shifted back over. We ended up winning that game 27-11. So this player also had a really tough assignment this year, being one of our primary ball handlers on the team. Being our youngest player, that role put her against physically bigger and stronger opposing players every game. But she was fearless, and that's why Olivia Archer this year is getting our Fearless Player of the Year award. So our next player is a bit newer to basketball. So this is her second year with the Wildcats and second year to play basketball. She has really good instincts on the court, and she stepped up for us in a really big way on this team this year. We saw a lot of potential in her, and we really pushed her, oftentimes out of her comfort zone, and I don't think she always liked that. As the season progressed, we would see these glimpses that made us think, yes, that's it. Like, yes, that's it. I remember in practice, we were doing a penetrate and pitch drill, and she just all of a sudden started like taking the ball to the basket, and we're like, where has this been all season? Like, do this in a game. So she really grew in her confidence. I think if you saw her at the beginning of the year, she just seemed a little more apprehensive out on the court, just not exactly sure where to be, what to do. But I think toward the end of the season, you saw that change. She had a breakout game against the Columbus Hawks with 12 points, 4 steals, 8 rebounds. She actually ended up being one of our leading scorers on the team for the year. She, in our 1-point win against the Cash Eagles, we had tried to find game film of this team because we hadn't played them all year, and we found one game, and we kind of scouted the players. We get to the game, and we see this girl over there, we think warming up with them, but we're like, she must be like a 16U player who's just over there helping with the 12U. And then she was in the starting lineup, and so we were like, all right. So we put this player on this player defensively. This girl guarded her, and that girl only had 3 points the entire game, and I think only received the ball or even shot the ball like 5 times. So that was really huge in that win against Cash. So this year, our most improved player goes to Ellie Ramirez. So this next player, when I think of her, I just think of passion and intensity. She is literally everywhere. Everywhere. She will be over here getting a rebound, and she's all on the other end, like blocking a shot. I'm like, she's everywhere, and I love it. She was in all the right places in the basketball court all year. She has a really high basketball IQ, and her instincts are spot on. I never had to worry about this player's intensity or effort on the court. I knew that when she was on the court, she would always give 100%. She was often in the middle of all those game-changing plays. If I needed the ball stolen or we needed to get the ball back, she's the one that I was like, get the ball. She also led the teams in steals this year. At the beginning of the season, we also started her in the front of our diamond press. And not quite the middle of the season, we decided to try her in that middle position, and it was like made for her. She got so many steals. I think our press was really effective this year. We played a lot against teams, especially those close games, and she's one of the reasons why it was so good. She also was the one who we typically matched up against the opposing team's best player, best offensive player, and she delivered every time. We asked a lot of her. She was very versatile. She could play post. She played on the perimeter. She worked on footwork, post footwork in practice, but also all the perimeter things too. And so she's just her willingness to joyfully fill whatever position the team needed of her was just vital for our small team of 7. I will miss coaching her next year, but I'm excited to see her develop in the years to come. Our defensive player of the year goes to June Williams. So, as a coach, this next player is one that you just never want to take off the floor. Like, I never want her to be off the floor. She plays with such maturity, and I can trust her. We relied on this player to maintain that steady, quiet leadership for our team. but she also could step up and make things happen when we needed them. She is such an unselfish player. In fact, toward the middle to the end of the season, I pulled her aside to have a little talk, and I said, I need you to be more selfish. I need you to be a ball hog, please, please. And she looked at me like I was crazy, and I assured her if it got too much, I'd let her know. But I needed her to have the basketball more. She had a really tough position to play on her team, but always gave 100%. She always kept the team going. She was often singled out by other teams to be guarded well on our team by their best players, and she had to fight through pressure the whole year to make things happen for the team. I constantly called upon her to lead prayer on the court with other teams before games, and she never hesitated, and when I asked her to, and she even offered several times. It was a true privilege to coach her, and I'm looking forward to continuing to watch her develop as a player and a young woman. I want to thank this player for her quiet strength on this team and always being the steady leader that we needed. So our Christian Character Award goes to Ruth Brown. So last but not least, I had the privilege of getting to know this last player last year when I coached, and I was really excited to have her on the team again. So I think as a coach, you really want to see a few things in your players. So coachability, 100% effort all the time, and just the willingness to adjust and do hard things. And this player always did that. She was never out-hustled. She ran the floor like a champ. She always showed up ready to do whatever she needed for the team. She was an absolute joy to coach. She would find me after every game, every practice, and she would fist bump me and she'd say, "Thanks, coach." Every time I'd see her, even if it wasn't a practice or a game. I love that. She always encouraged her teammates and was always one of the first, along with Ellie, to volunteer to pray after our practices and our games. She was a force to be reckoned with on the offensive and defensive sides of the court, averaging over 9 points per game, season highs of 20 points against the Northside Lions and 19 against the Lapeer Lakers. Her rebounding and blocking ability was evident. She had several games, she was mostly in double digits every game in rebounds. All year, she fought hard against teams who constantly tried to pull her around by her jersey. They double-teamed her, triple-teamed her in the paint. They attempted to foul her out of games. She never made excuses. She never got frustrated. She just worked hard. I remember during the semifinal game at state, I think I mentioned this earlier, with Cash, we were tied 34-34. And she got up to shoot that. There was 11 seconds left, I think, and she got to shoot those free throws. And she did not hold under the pressure. She made that shot, and that won that game for us. She not only made the shot, but then she went down the floor and she made the defensive play also that won the game. So it was awesome. I feel like I could talk all night about all these girls, and this player in particular. She was voted the 12U All-Region Most Valuable Player at Midwest Regionals, and our MVP this year is Cecilia Wilson.
I won't speak long, but I wanted to just say 2 things to our ladies here. First, you guys were like a puzzle this year, and each of you had a specific role to play into to make that puzzle complete. And Coach and I are just really excited that you played your role, you did what you needed to do to help our team to victory. But beyond that, I was reading in James 3 this morning. It talks about not having jealousy or selfish ambition. And I saw that so clearly with this group. And I think this is a challenge for all the teams here, is that when you play for them, and it's not about a single person, and when you have as much excitement for each other, than yourself, great things can happen. And I think Coach and I saw that this year with our win at Midwest, even if we wouldn't have won that, but that was just a sweet gift from the Lord. And I just wanted to commend each of you and how you played for the Lord. So, great job.
We made some shirts for the girls to commemorate their regional championship. So I'd love them to share with you.
So I've noticed a few things. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, believe it or not. I mean, really, Coach Ramirez tried to help us out with that, but we still are just a little ahead of schedule. So I know Coach Cease is going to make up all the time. So while 12U boys are coming up, I want to note that our sponsors this year covered a lot of our bills to the tune. Hey, is everybody listening? Is everybody listening? Because I don't feel like I have everybody's attention. All right. So our sponsor covered over $10,000 in bills this year. Like over $10,000. So I just want to say thank you because the Ramirez's are Liberty Casco is one of our main sponsors. So I wanted to say thank you for that. Also, I noticed that the 10U boys coaches, I said this earlier, but I was having problems with this. You guys taught them not only a masterful fist bump, but also an excellent handshake. So like kudos to the 10U boys coaches for that because they all came through and did excellent on all of those things. That was so cool. So now our 12U boys, Coach Ryan Sims, Coach Elton.
All right, so Ryan, did you start the timer? 4 minutes? He's gone, so I got plenty of time. So I've been warned that I go overboard a little bit on my talk, but I'll tell you right now, it's hard to follow up after the 12U regional champs. That's awesome. It was even more impressive because they lost their anchor from last year. And for them to win regionals without her, and they were just the definition of toughness. And so you said something about Christian character, and one thing I can talk about with this team, and this was probably the hardest award to give, was these boys. I don't know all the parents. I want to first off thank you for homeschooling these kids, but the way you homeschool them, these boys are a delight to coach. I think I can speak for Nate. It was just so much fun to come to practice, to cheer them on, and just to coach them. So easy to coach, so much energy, just a fun group to be around. But before I forget, last year I challenged a lot of them to come to workouts, a lot of summer workouts. And what I noticed was the 12U girls, a lot of those girls were at summer workouts, working hard, and you saw it this year. So again, I challenge everybody to put in the work this summer to make yourself regional champs. And I think that was our goal for this year, was regional champs, wasn't it? So unfortunately, we did not get that done. So, but first off, I want to thank my wife. Where's Michelle?
Yeah, we all know that you heard. Thanks for doing this, Cease.
I couldn't do this without her. A lot of times I would come home, being gone from work overnight, get home, give her maybe a kiss, maybe not, and go right to basketball practice. So thank you, Michelle, just for your support and being around. I was watching Top Gun last night, and I pictured myself as Maverick and Coach Eppel's Goose, but he definitely was my not only Goose this year, but he stepped in a lot of times while I was gone for Ty's games, for different things, for work. He had to coach some games by himself, and I just want to thank you, Nate, for everything that you did. It was just so easy to coach with me. We've been doing it for a few years. So, like that movie, he's got on the Goose though. So. And I also want to thank his wife and his daughters for sacrificing the time that he does. I don't think he would say that if he's up here. Lindsay Tipmore, where you at? Lindsay? Where's she at? Go ahead and stand, Lindsay. She's not here? Okay, she can't stand. Hopefully she's watching at home. But Lindsay, thank you for being the team mom. And then everybody that helped out with the clock, the book, that took attendance. Just everybody that helps. We really appreciate making it easy for us. And then I want to thank the board for allowing us to coach. Thank you. But first I want to get into the boys. Everybody will raise their hand. We had a pizza party at Chicago's Pizza. It's on East Stop 11 Road. It's got the best lunch buffet in town. And I just want to tell you, if you want to see something amazing, come in the middle of November. Timothy will celebrate his birthday at the buffet, and last year I think we put down 13 pieces of pizza. So best by far. So if you want to get your eat on. But enough about my sponsor. I'm not paid, by the way, for to say that.
Actually, we're all paid.
When I say your name, go ahead and raise your hand. Isaiah Walker, who, Isaiah Walker, he won the SGA award. If you know SGA, you know why. Benjamin Cease. Yes, Benjamin Cease, that's you. Yeah. I pronounced it right, did I say it right? Okay. He won the Zakai Ziegler Award, and that was the challenge for him this year. Isaac Gorley, he won the Fish Out of Water Award, and if you're at that game, you know why. Jackson Walker, he won the Woody Award. Chapman Rackinator, Mr. Steady. Hugh Tipmore, he won the Penguin Award for his attire. Ezra Epple, always happy, happy, happy. Ian McGrath, he won the Block Party Award. Isaac Fellerman, he was, and you should ask him about this award, the Clutch Santa Claus. There's a story behind it. Elliot Schrecken Ghost, did I say it right? Schrecken Ghost? Right Time, Right Place Award, great addition to the team. Jeremiah Long, he was our team chaplain. Owen Dickinson, he won the Hiccup Award. Ask him about that as well. Graham Ferguson, definitely Mr. Clean. He was always on the floor. Jamin Walker, he won the Armbar Award. And then Gabriel Sesame won the Hot Potato Award. So, just to recap our whole real quick on our season, we had basically one team, but for tournaments we broke them off into two teams. So we had a B team and A team, and the Wildcat board was nice enough to give us awards for both. So we're gonna do that. But the B team, a lot of these guys, they just played with such heart, tenacity. Sometimes they played teams that shouldn't have been in our bracket, had no business being in the B bracket. Some huge kids, but these guys just competed, never gave up. They were outmanned a lot of times, but they just fought. And I just love their passion. And when they joined the A team together, it was just such a great bench. Brought so much team cheering and energy. So it was just a great group. So we'll go ahead and do the B team awards. First off, I'm going to start with, I'm going to go a little different. I'll go Christian Character, which Jamin Walker won this award. So go ahead and step up, Jamin. I will be honest, every one of these kids could have won this award, but, and it was hard. This year was hard to give awards. Usually they rate themselves, but Jamin is just a rock that was just so steady for our team. Just a positive attitude, never discouraging, just kept fighting. Even when he was getting knocked down, they knocked his glasses off, he just got back up. Even when he had the flu and played the next day, and his dad said, I don't know how much you get out of him, he just kept working. So great job, Jamin. Way to be the light. We'll go, I'll tell a quick story about this one. Gabriel, you won the most improved. At the beginning of the year, he got the hot potato award because Gabriel got a rebound, flipped it backwards, and got it to Isaac Fellerman for an and one free throw on the other end. But by the end of the year, instead of being hot potato, he'd get the ball and turn and outrace everybody down the court with the ball in hand, hitting a layup or just taking it all the way down. He improved so much. Great job, Gabriel. Unfortunately, my printer failed me tonight. Xfinity, I did pay the bill, but Xfinity Wi-Fi went out, and I was counting on that to print this the Ian Borley Award. But I'm going to give it out anyway. Graham Ferguson won the Ian Borley Award. And we'll get to Graham. But the Ian Borley Award is kind of the glue guy award that we have on our team. He just always competes, does the dirty work, is always there for his teammates. And like I said, the hustle, scrapping, he had knee pads and he wore them out by the end of the year. Great job, Raymond. The defensive player of the year for the B team was Ian McGrath. Now, Ian got it. He got the nickname Block Party because I think one game he had 3 or 4 blocks. So when Ian locked in, he was one of the best defensive players we have. The key is you got to lock in, and when he did, he was so tough to guard, but also he hit some big shots for us. He hit the big 3 at the end of the half in the final game, and I see a lot of, he's got an uncle that was great for the Wildcats, and I see a lot of that in there, that potential, so hopefully he taps into that. So, great job. And this is probably the easiest award to give. Isaac Fellerman for MVP. This one wrote itself. He led us in points, scoring, assists, rebounds, just clutch performance. I'll tell you this story real quick. We played one of the public schools, and the A team got themselves a little bit of lead, and I put a bunch of these guys in, and it got tight, and they hit a 3 at the end of the game, and they threw it in. Isaac got fouled with 2 seconds left, and they called timeout, tried to ice him. I said, you're going to make this, you're going to win the game, and sure enough, he hit the shot, and just came in clutch. But the great thing about Isaac was, he was our point guard, he was in front of the press, sometimes he's guarded their best defender, and there was times when he'd be like, Coach, I need to come out. And I'm like, you can't come out. I'm sorry, I'll call timeout, will that do it? Okay, we call timeout, you got a little rest, and then next thing you know, I gotta come out, Coach. I don't have any more timeouts, just keep playing. And he'd be like, okay, and he'd just go out there. So great job, Isaac. So as I said, we wanted to follow up the 12U Girls Regional Championship and win a championship. So that was our goal for the whole year, is to represent. And we had a team that showed that they could do it. The #1 ranked team in our region was the Northside Lions, and we had beaten them twice. And so we knew we could compete for a championship. We had competed at the Clash. We played well. We had a great game against Evansville. Went to overtime. One of my favorite moments of the season for 2 different reasons. Benjamin hit a shot that kind of put clutch 3. It rolled around. Hopefully it made one shining moment. But what I loved about it was that the shot caught all the Wildcat fans cheering, and just kind of the whole emotion of it all. And if you don't get to see it tonight, Benjamin puts it on repeat at home, so you could always come back and watch it. But just seeing the crowd and how much energy that game, but we ended up winning that in overtime at the Clash. And then we competed well at the Fort Wayne guard tournament, where we beat Northside in the first game. We lost a tough one the second game and competed with the Fort Wayne guard. Lost a close one, but we knew going into state and into regionals that we could compete. Unfortunately, we lost one of our better players to the flu in state, lost a tough game to Evansville, and then the regionals, we didn't play our best the first 2 games, but we just competed. We just fought hard, and I love that about our team. And we probably played our best game of the year, the last game against Chap, at 8 a.m., which was surprising because my team never shows up at 8 a.m. So just a great year all around. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. And I know I'm on time, right? How am I doing, right? Good? Okay. So we'll go ahead with awards for the A team. I don't have an award for this, but if we had a regional MVP, it'd be Isaiah Walker. He played his best game, the last game of the year. He came out 8 a.m. on fire and just took the heart away from the Chap Chariots. So great job. I'll start off with most improved. Hugh started out on the B team, and right away, Coach and I said, as we saw him develop and get better, sorry Hugh, you got to play on the A team. We don't give you a choice. So he just filled in. He had to play so many different positions. He just soaked it in, and we just saw from the beginning of the year to the end of the year how much better he got, and just how much he competed and how much he just soaked in. Being able to play not only the 3 and the 4, or sometimes the 5, but just stepping in and filling in great for us. So great job, Hugh. The next up, we will go with the Ian Gorley Award, and this goes to Chapman Rackinator. Sorry, Chap, I'll get it to you. But Chap was just the glue of the team. He would do the dirty work. He was always fighting. He was one of those kids that I had to say sometimes, hey, just go take the shot. Go take it in. And sure enough, he would get it. And he was just always a constant competitor. So great job, Chapman. Next up is the Christian Character Award, and that is Ezra Epple. Ezra Epple is one of those kids, he got the Happy Award because he's always happy. He was such a great teammate, always encouraging, always fighting, and just always competing. And the great thing, it's hard to coach Ezra because he's always got a smile on his face. And I want to yell at him sometimes, so I just let his dad do it. I just appreciate just everything you do and the light you are for the team. Great job, Ezra. This award could have went to a lot of people, but the Defensive Player of the Year goes to Benjamin Cease. Benjamin, I challenged him at the beginning of the year to be the Zakai Ziegler, the Nat, the little guy that just makes everybody uncomfortable. And I talked a lot about beating Northside, and we beat them twice. They had a kid that when we scouted them, they played the St. Louis tournament, and Memphis had a boxing 2 on them. They actually had 2 guys guarding them, and they had a little triangle. And I've never seen that before, but I said, Benjamin, we don't need a triangle. We just need you to get in his face. And I said, I want you to be just the gnat that just makes him uncomfortable, face guard him, get into him. And sure enough, at the end of the game, Benjamin came to me and said, hey, Dad, he was cussing at me. I think I got him rattled a little bit. So he just did a great job getting steals, competing, not letting his size. One game I pointed out, he was boxing out the kid from Northwest who's, 6'3", 220? Seems like it. He was a football player, but I said, okay, you can do that every game. But great job, Benjamin. And last but not least is the MVP award, and that goes to Jackson Walker. Jackson, I saw at one workout this summer, and I kind of said something like, hey, we need to get him signed up. And I saw the athletic ability, I saw the tenacity, I saw the speed, I saw the height, but it was pretty raw. And I don't know when it was in the season, but the light just turned on. And he just became a beast on the boards, beast in our offense, setting hard picks, cutting to the rim. Some of our offensive sets, he gets the ball, and I said, just take it to the rim. Just pump fake and take it to the rim. And sure enough, he did that. He just became the front of our press, such an important piece. Like I said, he unfortunately missed the state game because of flu, and you can tell it makes such a big difference in our team. And just what he brought to the team, his energy, he earned MVP. So great job, Jackson. So sorry, this is always allergy season for me, so I'm struggling a little bit with talking over my time. Okay. Perfect. So I'm done, but every year I lobby to Maverick and Goose are ready to sign. So go ahead and write up the contract. I do want to raise. So
0 times 0 sound good?
Yes, exactly. So, but thank you.
I think we can approve
Thank
it.
you. Oh, thank you, Lord.
Alright, boys, come down to a little forward. No, yeah, I just say come a little forward, not like walk off the stage. Yeah. Get the picture too spread out, too wide.
Shelly, they need to stay up.
They do need to stay up? Okay, she said you need to stay up, sorry. I just thought they were so wide that some of them went up to the Okay, go back up, I'm sorry, it's my fault. I remember last year it got too wide. Okay.
That's fine. Okay, everybody here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, 12 boys. Did a great job this year. So I have another fun fact for you. As a 14 girls come up, please. Another fun fact for you. So I told you that this year sponsors covered $10,000, a little more than that actually, of our bills. And do you know what the record is? You know, guys like records, right? You like breaking records? I would love for somebody to break this record. You ready? Coach Settle holds the record for the largest sponsorship. I don't know if he knows this. $10,000. That is the largest sponsor in Delta. Remember, you're your coach. So that is the record currently for sponsorship. So set your eyes on somebody for next year. We would love to break that record.
Hey, good evening. I had the pleasure of coaching this great group of young ladies. Always good. So I'm going to say a few thank yous and kind of recap our season. I'm going to turn it over to Coach Banquet for our awards. So first of all, I'd like to thank my wife, Mary, over there for stepping up and keeping the clock or scorebook and filling out the lineup for me. But anything that I needed was, I appreciate all your help. Coach Bayline, I wasn't sure who was going to coach with me this year, so I reached out to Mark and he was like, I'm not sure I know much about basketball, but I'll sit and hang out with you. So it's kind of funny, after the guard tournament, he's texting me that evening, kind of coming up with strategy. You know, hey, can we do this and this, and coming up with names for different plays. So I appreciate all your help this year, Mark. The Wildcat Award. So thank you for always being so responsive and providing all the resources to make it a successful season. So whenever we needed anything, you could text Ginny or Shelley or any of the board members, and they were quick to respond, and it just made things so much easier. During the state tournament game, I looked over, and I guess I didn't have a clock keeper that evening. I'm looking over at Miss Greenberg's over, and I was like, how did he end up, over keeping the clock? But it's just, it takes everyone kind of stepping up and filling a role. So thank you for everything that you do. The parents, thank you for prioritizing getting the girls to practice. With only 7 girls, and limited play time, we needed all the practice time that we could to work on things. I know a lot of the families were juggling multiple siblings. So Mrs. Doyle, Layton's mom Lexi, so thank you so much for stepping up and being our team mom this year. She was always going to help keep the clock and the scorebook. It's always nice when you don't have to worry about who's doing those things. You can worry about coaching. So thank you very much. The 12U coaches, Mrs. Ramirez, thank you for all the dry erase markers that I borrowed from you during the year, and for letting us, kind of join you in your holiday parties and practicing together. So you made the season a lot of fun. June, Ruth, and Cecilia, you all for stepping up and kind of filling in. I haven't said it, but we've handled injuries and sicknesses, throughout the year. So we needed to lean on them a little bit, so they provided a few comfort knowing that if we had someone foul out or someone got hurt, we would at least have 5 more to keep going. So thank you, girls. Kind of recapping, we kind of broke the season. I broke the season into 3 parts. Kind of the first part of the season, we didn't have a lot of practice, and I just wanted, when coaching girls, I was always told that they just kind of overthink things. Whatever they do, whatever you say they're going to do 100%. I just wanted them to go out and play fast. Wanted them to play fast, play reckless, not worry about making mistakes. So the first part of the first, I think 3 or 4 games, we were just full court pressing man to man. It was easy to sub because there were some tired girls running down the court, but it was fun just seeing them just play basketball, not worrying about where they needed to be, getting down pressure in their game, playing with emotion. You know, we talked about playing with emotion, playing with just playing with confidence. We won our first game against maybe a career high that game, 20-some points. We kind of had to back her down. She probably could have had a lot more of that game. The second game, we had a little bit closer game than expected. Third game, we got handed to us by a more experienced team that had been together. You know, some of their girls played varsity. And it was like, okay, so we had a big blowout. We had a competitive game, then we got it handed to us. So we may want to put some structure to what we're doing now. So we tried to figure out what we do well. So I want to thank Coach Ocean, Coach Seas, and everyone else that I reached out to kind of talk basketball and kind of figure out what can I do with the talent that we have. So it's one thing that's nice about this club is we've got a lot of parents, coaches that just like talking basketball. And it's fun to sit down and strategize and talk with those. So we did that. We did well during the parts of the season. Had some big wins. Clayton had beat her nemesis, was the Holy Cross. She had a big game against Holy Cross, which was fun. She had a big 3 towards the end, and the girls were playing really well. And then the third part of the season was probably their favorite part, where we got to strategize and game plan. So there's one thing to put together a game plan, to watch tape, to talk for strategy, and then there's another thing is to go out and execute things on the court. So we finished second in the guard tournament to the Lions. So we battled some injuries. I think that's a game that we could have won, but we had some injuries. We played them the first game in the state tournament, and a girl that had, I think, 26 points. Don't hold me to exact numbers, but she had a lot of her points. We played them in the first round of the state tournament and held her scoreless. So it was going from 26 points to holding her scoreless, and we pounded them. So, which was fun. We extracted some revenge. You know, the first game of the state tournament, down a starter. So Layton was injured, so we were having 6 players. And then we played the Columbus Hawks in the semifinals. And the Hawks were the #1 seed in our state tournament, the #1 seed, I think one of the #1 seeds in nationals. So they were a solid team that had been together for quite some time. So once again, we take some time, we put together a game plan, strategy, we talked about kind of what we want to accomplish, and the girls just went out and executed perfectly. So I think we hit around, what was it, 11-0 or more. So they didn't know what they were flustered. It was fun. We had a big crowd, so thank you all for coming and supporting us. And we had kind of the injury bug and the foul trouble kind of hit. So still, it was a really fun game, and it showed how far we came from the beginning of the season to that time. So I want to thank all the girls. We talked about, being one of the first practices, kind of what it takes to be a great teammate. And they were all great teammates to each other. They controlled the controllables. They put together great effort, great attitude. And I think, even after our last game in regionals, I didn't sense that they were done playing basketball. which is a good feeling. It wasn't like, oh, the season's over with. I think they were still looking forward to continue to play basketball. And I hope you all, put some time into the summer and come back better in the fall. So I'm going to turn it over to Coach Banquet to hang out our awards.
All right, so the ladies here didn't hear me say much during the course of the season, and that's because I try and live by the adage that it's better to keep your mouth shut and look stupid than to open up your mouth and prove it. So thanks to Jason for giving me ample opportunity here to prove it. It's great. I want to recognize all the contributions that all the girls gave. Not just the 4 trophies that we have to hand out here. So we got creative and we came up with a couple extras. So the first one is the Jackie of all trades. And this was for the girl that whatever we needed her to do, whether it was take the ball up the court, chuck the ball in halfway down the court to the other end, or maybe drive and run some people over. She was ready and willing and able to do it. So the Jackie of all trade award goes to Miss Sadie Miller. And then the Floor General Award. This player took the ball down the court for us most of the time and was our primary ball handler. And by the end of the season was getting where she was calling out the plays as she was coming up the court. And that was a growth for her from the beginning to the end. So the Floor General Award goes to Miss Cassie Tolbert. Then by nature of the game, we have more players than are allowed on the court, at the same time. So not everybody's able to play all the minutes. So we tried to say, take the minutes that you do have and make the most of them. And this player, whenever she got the chance to go in, whether it was starting or whether it was coming in off the bench, she came in and gave it 110% and would get points regardless of the amount of minutes that she had. I was always in there contributing. So the Make It Matter Award goes to Miss Julia Green. Then the Most Improved Award. This one isn't necessarily, all the girls improved over the course of the season, but there was one that improved not necessarily in skill, but in confidence. And I'm sure everybody knows, confidence is huge in getting out there and playing and doing what you're able to do. And this player went from pretty much choosing to sit out until we absolutely needed her to go in, to actually coming in, being willing to come in and play a fair amount of minutes while she was there. So the Most Improved Award, primarily for confidence, goes to Miss Kieran Bainline. Next up, the Defensive Player of the Year Award. For this one, it was more so not necessarily blocks or locking down somebody on offense. It was more being sneaky. Being fast, moving around, and coming up behind people, poking balls, creating turnovers. And so the Defensive Player of the Year Award goes to Miss Layton Lloyd. And next we're going to do MVP, and whether she was hitting threes or hitting some very important free throws for us or getting blocks, like too many to count, or just owning the paint, we have Miss Addie Williams. And finally, the Christian Character Award. So think a lot of the teams here have this, where if you break a huddle after getting your play, you're 1, 2, 3, 4 him. Well, I don't know if it happens to the other teams like it does to us, but during the course of the game, the enthusiasm in the for him kind of just goes lower and lower to where they're breaking the huddle long before they say for him. And it gets quieter each time. But there was one girl who I think that it always bothered when that happened. And that's because she was always bubbly, always had a fantastic attitude, and the Christian Character Award goes to Miss Iris Cato.
So the 14 girls, I'm going to get a picture with the coaches up on stage, please. Wait. So that's our 14 boys come up, please, with the coaches. If you were a live streamer in a game this year, could you please stand up? If you live stream a game this year, could you please stand up? Yeah. Everybody? Okay, so I'm standing, right, obviously. And I also want to, I don't think he's here tonight, but Joel Owen streamed a lot of varsity games for us this year as well. I just want to thank you guys. There were so many times this year that a game only got streamed because a coach was like, will you please stream this game? This was a hard year to get all the games streamed. We had more teams. And so keep in mind for next year, if that's something of interest in, please come talk to me. I would love to train you up and get you started. We had a lot of young people do some really great games this year. All right, 14 new boys.
My name is David Dickinson. I am the 14 new boys coach this year. And I thoroughly enjoyed coaching these young men. It was an absolute blast. I love coaching because it's a tool for discipleship. That's the main reason I coach. I love sports. I love the aspect of the actual sport that you're coaching, but for me, it is a huge tool for discipleship. We saw a fair amount of that this year as we learned to work together, as there were some moments where I'm frustrated with the things that they aren't doing, that I'm asking them to do. They're frustrated with me because they don't like the way I do things. That's good though. And it created some discipleship that took place, which was really awesome. So my job as the 14U coach is to get these boys prepared for the next level. And that doesn't look like wins in the column, or numbers in the win column as much as maybe we would like to see. Because for me, I want to make sure that all these boys have the opportunity to develop and get ready for that next level. So a 14-9 record isn't great, but what we saw in development, in their skill, their ability, their way to work together as a team to overcome adversity, and ultimately to see them grow as young men were the things that I was really excited about this year. We had 3 things we said all year. What were they? That's one. Don't get bored with the basics. Oh, come on. Effort and attitude, Knox said. Dom said, don't get bored with the basics. There's one more. Attention to details. That's right. Men, these are not just rules for basketball. They're the rules for life, and specifically your walk with Christ. The same grace by which you were saved is the same grace that sustains you. In life, you can't get bored with the basics of reading scripture and spending time in prayer and seeking humility. You must pay attention to the details of life. In doing the little things right, you begin to compound them and do the big things right. When you don't feel like you want to try or continue because life is hard, you don't have the right attitude, you are filled with the Holy Spirit. He will empower you to change your attitude, to change your perspective, and to keep pushing forward. And I saw how we did that this year. We did that a fair amount. I think we were faced with some adversity in a number of ways.
and we fought through that. So remember those three things, not just as you continue to grow in basketball, but as you continue to grow as men. So we'll jump to the awards. We're going to start with most improved. This player made some really big strides throughout the year. I'm not sure when exactly the conversation took place. It was probably early to midway through the season. I was giving him a ride, I believe, when this conversation happened. And we just talked about his hopes, what he thought his role would be. And he really knew that his role was just to be in the position of a bench player. And to be on the court every moment that he could, and to do what he could to fight for his team and to improve and to get better. And we saw him make strides significantly. And later in the season, he began to get crucial minutes in games that really impacted the outcomes of those games. And so this year, most improved goes to Will Ramirez. At the beginning of the year, I had all the boys getting 3 personal goals and 1 or 2 team goals that they wanted to accomplish with the year. Will's #1 goal
Was to throw up at practice.
Did we accomplish that? Almost, he said one time. Sorry, guys, I failed you. All right. So, Defensive Player of the Year. This person could have easily been the 6th man of the year as well. He came off the bench and gave us a spark. Every time he got on the floor, the energy on the floor changed. He got us tighter defensively, not just on his man, but collectively. He hustled. He never was afraid of doing whatever it was that he was tasked to do. Whether it was to guard the best player on the court, or to get in and bang with a big guy who's probably 8 inches taller than him and a solid 40 pounds heavy. He was willing to do it and really fought hard to do it. He knew his role and he executed it well. This year, Defensive Player of the Year is Jacob Owen. All right, MVP. This one was tough. We had 3 players that were only separated by 1.31 points per game. 2 of them had a field goal percentage that was within 3 points of each other. But as we began to navigate and think through what is the MVP, it's not an offensive award. It's a collective player award. What do they bring to the team? What do they bring collectively in the game of basketball? And as we began to navigate that, this young man stood out above everyone else. When he was on the floor, he changed the energy of the floor. When he was on the bench, it felt different on the floor. When he couldn't play because he got in foul trouble, it affected our game significantly. His defense was solid for the most part. He worked the boards and secured possessions. He wasn't afraid to take a charge. He even took a charge at Nationals and sent him to the hospital when he was playing with the JV. So this year's MVP for 14U is Ethan England. Christian Character Award. This is, and I'm not trying to make this cheesy or over-spiritualize the game of basketball, but to me, this is the most important award. Like I said, I love coaching because it's a tool for discipleship. My job as a coach to be able to walk alongside you parents and help disciple your kids to become young men who love the Lord and seek Him and mimic Him, look like Him. So this person is a picture of humility, gratitude, joy. When you look at this man, you see all of that. He works hard, he never complains. He's always looking to encourage his teammates, no matter what the situation is. He showed more appreciation to his coach than the rest of his team combined. He always was cheering for his teammates. For me, like I said, this is the most important award. This game is a tool for discipleship, and so what I want to see every boy do is mimic Christ more and more through this game. So, this year's Christian Character Award goes to Luke Day. Coach C said it earlier. The 12U girls probably spent more time than any other of the underage groups at summer workouts, and you can see the difference that it made, right? So, six of you still in 14U next year, 4 of you moving on to JV. So, you gotta be in the gym, you gotta put in the work this year. Let's see what we can do next year, right?
Coaches can join them on stage for a picture. Yeah, get you all dressed up when we can. Maybe it has our number. All right, thank you guys. So, up next. JV girls, will they come up? I just want to mention, since it's been mentioned multiple times, summer workouts, we usually have a couple in May, not always, sometimes. June ball is an option for the high school age group, and then we have summer workouts in after 4th of July through September, a couple times a week. So if you want more information about that, make sure you're paying attention, email around those times, and all that information will be sent out. All right, 16 girls, shortly.
All right, change mics. Always an honor to coach. I've always enjoyed just having the chance to interact with these girls, but also just be able to have an influence in their life. I try to have fun with them. They probably think I'm weird and goofy, but lots of fun to interact with them. This year I had a little unique experience. I have 4 true JV girls, right? And then we have some that play varsity, and then we had some come up and play from junior high too. So that was fun to do a mix as well. So my team is Kenna Gorley, Mary Rero, Leah, Hannah Wilson, Naomi, Cassie, Audrey, and Annabelle. So, lots of fun to coach them. I think we always say when I think as coaches, when we're at the end, we want to play our best, right? That's kind of what, as we're going to the end of the year, we're going to regionals or going to state, that we want to play our best. And I think the first game of regionals, I don't know that we played our best, but after we kind of got through those cobwebs, the last 2 games were pretty fun. And yes, it was a D2 championship, but it was still fun to be able to play on center court, win a trophy that looks exactly like the D1 trophy. Really fun to experience that with the girls and just have those moments as we play. So let's go through the rewards that we have this year. And so it's always a tough decision to decide who is going to get these awards. I'm going to start with the most improved. And the person we have for that is Mary Rowe. And some of the things that Mary did is just really took her skills and started to shoot the ball a lot more, which I think she built confidence. I saw that this year as she started to play and really improved in her ability to see the courts and find the open person, but also shoot the ball. And so I thought she did a really good job improving and just navigating the court this year. So nice job, Mary. Next award was defense, and if you haven't seen me coach, I get really into my games, and I think part of what makes it fun is when the girls and any team gets aggressive, right? When you see that tenacity come out in them on the floor, and I've been waiting for this person to do that, and boy did it come out in a big way. We saw it in JV court, and we even saw it in the varsity when she played varsity a little bit. And that's Hannah Wilson. I'm going to do MVP last, but I agree, as most of the coaches have said, the Christian Character Award is really, really important. It's part of our just example. We are a Christian organization. I think people and other teams need to see Jesus and Christ through us, right? Very, very important. How we act on the court, how we interact with others. And I saw this from this person, and no matter what happened, no matter how much you played, no matter what you did, she's always encouraging, always positive, and always willing to just go the extra mile and just encourage everybody. And that's Annabelle. MVP is not my favorite award because sometimes there's more than one. But as I reviewed and thought about and looked at the different stats, I mean, yes, it does with points and steals and how you play defense and stuff like that, but it's also how you lead the team. It's also how you come alongside everybody. It's also how you share the basketball. Because I think over the years, as you've seen with Wildcat basketball, when we play team basketball, that's when we win most of our games. And when we really shine together as a team versus individually. And I definitely saw this in this person in points and rebounds and steals, but also in just the leadership and making sure he played as a team. And that's Kenny Boyd. I just want to thank Jill. I know we've done her the last few years, but thanks for helping me out in coaching. She keeps me grounded. Kind of a win for me. I only got one technical this year, so I had to think about it too if I got one. So that's a little bit better, right? As I share the example of Christ with others. But this is JV Girls. Thanks, guys.
So we are coaches can join the stage. Thank you, ladies, for all you done this year. So JV boys and coaches on the stage can try and get it. Sometimes once a little bit, sometimes easy. All right, so JV boys went all the way to nationals this year for maybe the first time ever. So let's listen to Coach Hampton talk about it.
You're gonna fall off there.
All right.
Jacob! You good? All right, did I Shelly likes it. Oh, is it?
All right. Well, I am a pastor, so I preach for a living, and that means I talk too much, too often. So I am going to time myself and try to be as disciplined as I can. I want to, first of all, thank all of those who lead and who serve the board, who do all the intricate details. Thank you for letting, this is my first year as a head coach. I've been an assistant coach 2 years in a row, and my first year as a head coach, so that was a risk, and I appreciate the risk. I enjoyed very much the opportunity and am grateful for it. And yet I also know that there are probably more qualified people, and I am thankful that you guys gave me an opportunity, and it's been a great blessing and a great joy. So
I want to thank the parents, the families, all the different coaches that are a part of this organization, that have been a part of the feeder program, getting kids prepared for high school. Thank you for all the players who put time and sacrifice, investment into the season. Basketball, it definitely asks a lot throughout the season, from late nights, long drives, all the practices, all the games, all the encouragement, all the intentional thoughts on correction and the way that you give correction, and a whole lot of laundry. And as I've thought about all the things I want to say tonight, there's one thing that just kind of keeps popping through my mind. It's a phrase I use a lot throughout the year, and it's that basketball is more than about basketball. I know for me, I spend a lot of hours as a coach researching the teams we're going to play. What kind of offense do they play? What kind of defense do they play? Are there any players that we need to target and identify that stick out in their rebounding, in their defense, in their offensive capabilities? And I spent a lot of time thinking through that and stressing over that and researching what we should do. But more than I spend time researching and tossing and turning and toiling over that, I spend even more time toiling about our players, toiling about your kids. I think about the bad interaction that one player had with another. I think about how that was sometimes even difficult with me. I thought about a player who I know needs to learn how to see the floor better, not just think about shooting, but see the guy that's open and see all the things that are happening and see beyond the tunnel vision that we so easily can have as players, because I know Paul will expect more next year, and I want what's best for them. I want them to find the joy of where I know their hearts are set on. I thought often about the player who had their head down and they voiced frustration when they had to go out of the game. And sometimes that was, well, most of the time, that was simply because of the timing of the rotation. It wasn't because of anything specific, but the frustration that would come out, the head down, the disappointment of, I really want to be in there, and yet I would toil over that. I would think through that. I would wrestle with that, because basketball is more than just a game. It's about real kids that are growing into men that I grew to care about. I thought often about these things because of how much these men love the game, how much they care about the sport, how much they care about the desire to grow in this game, and how they have to deal with an imperfect coach, and how I still want to set them up for what's best in their growth in the game and how they can grow in life. Of course, we want to improve our skills as players. We want to learn how to shoot better. We want to be able to defend harder. We want to be able to move without the ball. We want to be able to box out. We want to communicate, and we want to play together. We want to win games. But even if only these young men got from the season was becoming better basketball players, I would simply say that we miss the bigger picture. We miss the bigger purpose. Because one day, every player in this room will play their last game. They will struggle to do the fancy moves that they can currently do. Their knees may not allow it, or their back, or whatever that might be. For most players, there will come a night when the final buzzer sounds. The jersey isn't just put away, but it no longer fits. And the shoes are worn out, and the stats no longer matter. But the man that they are becoming is what will matter. This is why all season long we stress that basketball is a tool. It's a tool for something greater. Basketball reveals what's already in our heart. It especially reveals what is in our heart when we are bumped by the trials and the frustrations of the game. It reveals how you respond when things don't go your way. It reveals whether you're willing to work when no one else is watching. It reveals whether you can stay humble when you succeed. It reveals whether you can encourage a teammate when you're frustrated, even sometimes frustrated with them. It reveals whether you're willing to accept correction. It reveals whether you're willing to put the team ahead of yourself. Those lessons matter far more than points or wins or losses. This season we talked a lot about attitude, we talked a lot about effort, we talked about growing in unselfishness. You can't always control whether your shots fall. You can't always control the officiating. You can't always control injuries through bad opponents or bad nights, but you can control your effort. You can control your attitude. You can control how you treat your teammates, and you can control whether you respond to those situations with maturity. Those things matter in basketball, and they matter because they matter in life. Someday these players, they will be husbands, they will be fathers, church members, employees, business owners, and leaders in our city and our community around us. And what will matter is not whether they average 10 points a game or more, or they miss the pass that would have given you an assist, or if you hit the game-winning shot in January. Will matter. They learn to be disciplined, whether they learn to work hard, whether they learn to handle the adversity. Just didn't freak out. Whether they learn to be coached. Am I on? Yeah, okay, there we go. Whether they learn to put others first, whether they learn to lead in humility. Those are the qualities that build strong Christian men. I also think one of the most important lessons that basketball teaches is that you need other people. No one wins alone. Every basket comes when someone else sets a screen, someone else makes a pass, someone else grabs a rebound, someone else played tight defense on somebody that really needed to be guarded tightly, and someone did all the little things even that nobody notices. Life is the same way. We need teammates, we need coaches, we need parents, we need people who will challenge us, and people who will encourage us, and we need people who will hold us also accountable. And ultimately we need Jesus, because while sports can teach us many valuable things, they do not save us. Our identity cannot be in how many games we win, and how well we play, or how successful we are in a game of basketball. So instead, we want to put our identity in Jesus. If our identity is in basketball, then every loss will feel crushed, and every bad game will feel like a failure. But when our identity is in Christ, we can play hard, compete hard, care deeply, while still remembering that our worth does not come from basketball. It comes from belonging to Him. So I'm proud of this team for a lot of reasons, not just because of how they played, but because of the growth that we saw in a lot of ways throughout the season. I saw players encourage each other, pick each other up. I saw players accept tough coaching. I am a former Marine, and I sometimes come across that way. I saw players keep battling when things were difficult. I saw players grow in maturity. I saw players become better teammates. Those are the things that matter most. Those are the things that we challenge our players to always think about. The goal was never just to become better basketball players. The goal was to become better men who grow in character and hopefully some skills along the way. Because basketball is more than just basketball. So as I'm thinking about all the different ways that we went throughout the year and we grew, there's awards I think that are very intentionally thought through. And yet, I do agree with some of the other coaches that have spoken that it is difficult to sometimes nail something down when you can give a lot of awards to different people for different things. So I want to start with most improved. Switching again. Is that one messing up too? Hey, this sounds better. It's not freaking out. It's pretty cool. Where do I need to move? About here? Okay. So I want to start with most improved. At the beginning of the year, I had a talk with all of our players about their strengths and about a couple of different weaknesses that they needed to work through. And as I was working through all the different players and I got to this particular player, I addressed how important they were to what this team can be and what this team can do. And their role plays such an important role in the morale of the team, in the excitement of the team, in our ability to contend and to be able to play against some of the better teams that we will play against. But I also talked about their effort too often in practice is not as strong as what I'd like it to be, and their attitude is way too much like a roller coaster, and it needs to grow in strength of his emotions and grow to contain his thoughts and emotions, because self-control is a fruit of the Spirit, which I'm confident he has. And so this player, throughout the year, we had hard talks, sometimes trying to talk through our hard emotions about where we were. And over the course of the season, there was a lot of growth and effort. Toward the end of the season, I rarely ever questioned effort, and I only occasionally questioned attitude. And so with that, there was a lot of growth overall throughout the season, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to spend the time that I've spent, not just in the season with the rest of the team, but also just throughout the year, spending time in the off season, going to the gym together. So Lucci, it's been a great honor to be able to be with you and to see the growth. The next two awards, Defensive Player Award and Christian Character Award, these are two unique awards that I think I found to be difficult because I could give either one of these to mostly these two players a piece. And I had to kind of fight through where to give one to the other because the Christian Character Award, these are both two people, and I think the only two people who never gave attitude to me or an official or to a teammate. Throughout the entire year, I think they're the only two that never gave attitude to me, never gave attitude to an official, and never gave any attitude of any sort to anyone else. And I was very grateful to be able to come alongside both of these young men in their growth and to see their character just continue to shine forth in the frustrations of dealing with officials that sometimes you want to yell at, sometimes dealing with a coach that you sometimes want to deal with and yell at, and to deal with frustrations of teammates that don't always make you happy. They sometimes make you frustrated, and yet your attitudes both shine. And also navigating the Defensive Player of the Year award and how to think through the strengths and where they both land. They both have different strengths. And to think through the Defensive Award for our team was complicated because if you were to look at the landscape of our team as a whole, defense was one of our greater weaknesses. It was not an area of strength. We lost games sometimes simply because of defense. We had to go through a lot of different defenses, a lot of different games, and yet we wanted the core identity of our defense to be man-to-man defense. I'm a firm believer in the developmental ages, and I think JV still fits there. It needs to be developing and preparing people to be able to play man-to-man defense. And when we play too much zone or too much press, I think we're getting out of the core tenet of teaching kids how to play man-to-man. So we don't want to do that too much, but yet we actually found a lot of our success from the 3-2 press. A lot of our offense didn't come from our offense. It came from creating some chaos, and that came from the 3-2 press, which was never the goal. The goal was to scale back and to get back in the man. So we could learn to guard our man, to be where we need to be, to fill the gaps, to be an appropriate help side. And so I had one of these young men was maybe a little better at man-to-man. They could guard more people for a longer amount of time. They could guard small guys, bigger guys. They could guard a wider range of offensive players that sometimes we had to have somebody who could be a hawk. Instead of being 50% between ball and man, be 60, be 65, be a little closer because they're dangerous. And I need you to be a little tighter. And they could always handle that. They always, this person would always, I think we struggled against presses. We had a lot of chaos that teams would put against us. And so transition defense was important. We got onto our players a lot, not sprinting down. And I never had to yell or get frustrated at this particular player for not sprinting down. Sometimes he would be at the free throw line, the turnover would happen at the half court, and he would beat people to get down to try to contend or get a rebound or at least participate in the chaos of what just happened. And I never doubted effort, never doubted willingness to get down and get dirty. And so for Christian character, I want to start and give that to Landon. And so Landon's off-ball defense was exceptional. He was in many ways equally worth getting the defensive player award. One thing that made it harder was his ability to be in the game. He dealt with knee issues a lot through the year. He dealt with a lot of pain. And sometimes even when I needed him in there, I could tell he was hurting my yoke. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, okay, I'll see you, but I need you back in because you're so important. And his attitude was just always excited about the opportunity. He always dealt with the frustrations of that really well. And for the defensive player of the award, I think I'm going to give this in light of some of the early in the year, we played a tournament in Bloomington. We lost to a team by 40 twice this year, and they had a 1-3-1 zone that just absolutely wrecked us. It was a 1-3-1 press, and it was so hard for us to break. They just absolutely destroyed us. We played them 2 more times. Next time we decided to do a box and one, and I put Calvin on this player. I said, hey, just be hot. Make him angry. Be all up at his grill. Don't give him any space. And we need to stop this one player who had 35 points and 28 points against us the first 2 games. And so he fought really hard to be all up in his grill, never giving him any space. And from that point on, I was able to look at some of the best shooters, the best scorers, and say, hey, I need you to guard him. Sometimes he's 6'3", sometimes he's 5'8". And he was a guy that I could always contest that he's going to be able to guard, no matter whether he's quick, fast, athletic, or just strong. He was able to handle a wide range of players that needed strong defense. So for the Defensive Player of the Year, that goes to Calvin. And for MVP, I think if anybody were to gauge what our team looked like, for the most part, our players played about 50% equal playing time, except for one player, and that was Johnny. Johnny is our MVP. We are dynamic with Johnny on the floor. Johnny always was scoring. Johnny got rebounds that I wanted our 2s and our 3s and our 1s to be able to hit, and he was the one guy that found a loose ball, found a way to get in there. His help side defense was exceptional. His ability to see the floor was the best. That was the area of weakness for a lot of our team throughout the year, and he was the one guy I always thought was going to be able to see more things happening, to be able to push the ball down, to be able to handle harder presses. And we had a lot of teams that wanted to press us, and he was the one guy that I felt like gave us our best shot to be able to get through. And so, John, appreciate you. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for my dad.
So next up, after we get the picture here, would be varsity girls. So you guys are on that. Oh, yeah. Well, stay where you are, because we're trying to get. She's trying to take a picture with me.
Johnny's dad.
Yeah? All right.
You're doing great.
All right, thank you, boys. And I'd like to say, too, about the JV boys, I want to add a little note. They have been the loudest, most energetic cheers at varsity boys and girls games all season long. Like, they have gotten up and they are like beating chairs when they're on the court. So that, I really appreciate that about you guys. All right, so varsity girls coached by Coach Ochin and assisted by Coach Gorley and Coach Riddle. They went really far this year, Coach. Let's hear that.
All right, thanks everyone. Appreciate your perseverance tonight. As far as receiving that Wildcat Award, I'm just didn't get a chance to say anything about that. Just very quickly, I agree with the guys who said that coaching is a selection tool, but one of the benefits of coaching is the relationships that are produced. And those photos that y'all just pulled together for me already just have yanked some tears out of my heart, and it's just
I had to
special.
dig deep in my hard drive for some of those photos.
Well,
Deep.
you did have to go deep because I've been doing this for a minute, and so I mean it's just and coaching these girls to segue into it. Boy, I've been coaching boys a long time, but these girls got my heart. Before I say anything about the team, I of course need to thank a few people. Everybody needs a Ryan Reese. He's been doing the book for us for 3 years. He finds club operators when we need them. If I could just take a nuts and bolts thing and encourage volunteerism, I never had to worry about who's going to do my book. And it's a tedious detail for a coach. If you can buddy up to a coach and be a clock operator or a bookkeeper, that's so helpful. Jake and Jill, great job coaching JV, and this season coincided with my father coming home from the hospital for 5 months, being in my home on hospice care. I missed a lot of practices. It was a wonky year, and these guys were great. And I'm also thankful for the young girls program coaches, especially Angie, Brooke, and Shelby. The program only works when a lot of people put in a lot of effort. I'm grateful for all of them. When I think about our season, one word keeps coming to my mind: perseverance. This was not a simple season. On paper, we finished 17-17. Wow, they're not happy about that. But that's not a losing record. We got 4th in the conference, 5th in the state, and 2nd at D3 at nationals, winning a gold ball. But I understand that because the record doesn't really tell the story. Coming into this year, we had some high expectations. We returned almost everybody from last season. All 5 starters were back. Our top bench players were back. We had experience, chemistry. Because of that, we expected more, and I don't think that was wrong. But this season reminded all of us that expectations don't guarantee success. We had injuries: Melissa's knee, Addie's ankle, Angela's knees. We had girls coming in late because of soccer. Twice in tournaments, we drew Western Michigan first, which felt excessive. And those games did not go well. And then there were a lot of close games that we lost. It felt like all year long, every time we had a chance to break through, we ended up on the wrong side of it. It just felt that way all year long. And if you're around a team every day, the weight of that just piles up emotionally. Late January to Fwiggett was kind of our low point for the year. We got smacked again by Western Michigan. We lost 3 straight games. We did not play well. Melissa re-injured her knee. At that moment, we all were crushed, thinking her season might be over. And that tournament feels like the point in the story where the season just could have turned into a tailspin. But it didn't, because this group just keeps responding. That's what I'll remember about this group. They don't quit. They didn't quit. They're tough. They don't quit on each other. They don't quit on me. They keep loving each other. You know, teams are easy to love when they're winning. We've all had great seasons like that. This team learned how to stay together when things were not easy. And I hope that, thank you. And I hope that my girls know that what God was doing in this season has to be deeper than what a final win-loss record would show. So before I get to our Wildcat Awards, I actually have 3 extra awards to give out tonight. First, we have for the 2nd year in a row, the coaches in our conference voted one of our players as the MCHC Conference Leadership Award winner, and that award goes to Melissa Colbert. This is an award voted on by other coaches, which makes it especially meaningful. Melissa was a steady, faithful leader for us this year. She's not the loudest voice in the room, but she's consistent, she's selfless, she's tough, she's team first. And the moment that stands out for me this year was early in the season. Melissa had not been playing or practicing well. And on December 13th against the Cincinnati Trailblazers, I did not play Melissa, my senior guard. For some players, that would have led to pouting and frustration. But the very next practice, Melissa comes back and had her best practice of the year. She's knocking people around. She's finishing layups. She's knocking down threes. And we were like, well, this girl is not a quitter. She re-earned our trust immediately. And that's who Melissa is. And then that devastating near miss of a knee injury that we still don't understand exactly what bubblegum, paperclip, and duct tape is holding that together. But Melissa, we're proud of you. You're very deserving of that leadership award. Our second special award is the National Christian Home School Basketball National Tournament Award. Because we won a gold ball, it means we won our region, and I get to award the regional's most outstanding player award, and that goes to Kenna Gordon. I love that Kenna just went, who, me? Kenna was a huge part of our run at Nationals. She averaged 10 points a game. She was our most consistent scorer. She hit some big shots, a couple of those step-back threes, brought some of the loudest cheers all week. And what I love about Kenna is she brings a little feistiness. And I mean that in a good way. It's a compliment. She gives us a spark on the floor. Congratulations on being named the tournament regional most outstanding player, Kenna. And speaking of nationals, that part of the season felt a little redemptive.
all the frustration of the regular season after losing so many close games, we went to nationals. I ripped off 5 straight. We beat Lake Houston, mid-Missouri. We beat the Kraken from Oahu. We beat the PT Warriors from Texas. We beat the LKY Saints. 4 of those 5 wins were close games. The one we were down, that wasn't close, we were down at the half. That's special to us because all year long it felt like we were on the wrong side of close games. And then finally, in the biggest tournament of the year, this team finally broke through, and we had a moment during nationals that deserves one last extra award. So tonight I want to give out my first ever Wildcat Big Shot Award, and it goes to Natalie Tolbert. In our 3rd game at nationals against the Oahu Kraken, we'd been up 10, and then we sold. We made just so many bad plays that suddenly we found ourselves down 1 with 12.8 seconds to go. And in the huddle, huddles with girls are interesting for me as a long-time guys coach. The other team was half-court trapping. I didn't feel like running a set was going to be good, but I wanted to help them in some way. So I asked them, do you want to run something, or you just want to play? And Addie's the one who speaks up, no surprise. She goes, let's just play. I said, okay, get the ball to Addie in the mid-post, let her make a play. She finds Natalie on the wing. Natalie lets it go, and with 3.4 seconds left, she knocks down a 3. Big moment for us in the tournament. We end up winning by 2. The bench loses its mind. I think I hugged Jacob while the ball was in the air. You can see me on the sideline like I'm a bowler, or a putter, trying to get that ball to go in the hole. Natalie, congratulations on winning the Big Shot Award. It's got the ESPN logo on it. I sent that to the Sports Center. They sent me the ball. All right, and before I give out the Wildcat Awards, a brief word to our seniors. I've not had seniors before. Melissa Tolbert, Angela Ocean, Addie Reese, and Eleanor Charles. Thank you, girls. Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for leading. Thanks for enduring your injuries, tough losses, hard moments, and all the pressure that comes with playing varsity basketball. Angela, 853 career points. You maybe should have played your freshman year. You got that 1,000-point mark. You were close, Addie. We only started winning when you finally started shooting the ball. And you started shooting it well. Melissa, Angela, Addie, captains for 3 years, each of you leading in your own way. And Eleanor, you brought a great presence, especially in practice to our team this year. You gave this program something good, and we are better because you were a part of this program. You are leaving it better than you found it. Thank you. Now for our Wildcat Awards. I'm trying to go fast. Our Most Improved Player Award goes to Eleanor Charles. Eleanor hadn't played since the 8th grade, so when the season started, there was a lot to learn. Eleanor was a great athlete, very smart, incredibly fast. Over the course of the year, she improved in every area of the game. On senior night, she got to play the whole game, scored 10 points, stole the ball like 50 times. I don't know the official number. It seemed illegal to me on the bench. But Eleanor, your growth this year was obvious. You earned it. Congratulations on being our Most Improved player. Our Defensive Player of the Year is Naomi Grimm. What makes Naomi special on defense is that she loves it. Some players put up with defense so they can get back on offense. Naomi actually enjoys, I think, making life difficult for other people. Maybe Luke and Tia can tell me whether that's true or not. She's disruptive on the ball. She's disruptive off the ball. She's great at help side defense. She jumps passing lanes. She creates chaos. Addie Reese often guards the other team's best ball handler and allows Naomi to become our ball hog, stepping in, stealing passes, blown-up actions. At Nationals, the one game we lost in the D3 final, I think I'm about over it, but when I have a quiet moment, we were down 1 and I see Naomi splitting a dribble handoff, and her hand is on the ball. Unfortunately, Kenna also came to blow it up down low, and I see Naomi go from, in my mind, in a split second, we're getting a layup and win the game, and Naomi laying on the ground like, oh my gosh, what truck just hit me? And we had to foul and lose by a couple, but I see that Naomi, just that instinct, and Naomi, congratulations on being our Defensive Player of the Year. I know, I just called Kenna a truck in front of everyone. I'm a bad girls coach, and I am. Our Christian Character Award goes to Angela Ocean. There are a lot of things I can say about Angela, but what stands out most is the way she helps to lead and empower a group. When our team starts losing heart or getting distracted, Angela has a way of bringing people back. She encourages younger players, she cheers loudly, she stays engaged on the bench, she helps refocus the group, and she's done that while dealing with pain, physical limitations, and emotional trauma from her father. This is all part of Christian character, not just how you act when life is easy, but how you keep showing up and encouraging others when things are not easy. Angela, thank you for the way you've led the team. Congratulations. And finally, our most valuable player is Addie Reese. There were some years when the MVP is obvious, because of points or stats. This year, Addie was our MVP, not only because of what she did when she played, but because of what we learned when she could not. I'll tell you one quick story. There was a game of regionals this year where she's nursing an ankle injury and did not play. We were up 4 at halftime, but in the third quarter we sold so badly we were down 10. At that point, Ryan, who's sitting right next to me keeping my book, goes, "She can play." So she goes back in, we erase the whole deficit in 1 quarter, nearly come all the way back. I think I actually said to you that day, I said, I think something about this. That game taught us something we already knew, but maybe we didn't really fully understand, that Addie's the engine of our team. She's the one player on our team who can make players around her a little better. She scores, she gets assists, she defends, she makes great decisions. She sees things other players don't see. And when she came back from the last ankle injury, she played with a different level of confidence. She shot the ball more, shot it well, helped carry us. Over the years, Addie has won every Wildcat award possible. And so I find this especially precious that she's the kind of player that every coach loves to have. Addie, congratulations on being our MVP. All right, there's a real good chance that this may be my last year with the girls, so can I coach you one last time in closing? See more. See more than the ball. Stop it, I was almost there. See more than your frustration with me, see more than your last mistake, see more than me yelling at you. See more of your teammates around you, see more of what God is doing, see more of the bigger picture. This team grew because you didn't quit. You keep loving each other, you keep going back when you can stop. So yes, I look back on this season with gratitude, with great joy. And we can look ahead with excitement because this team is loaded for years to come. There's some fun memories. You get knocked down, you might get disappointed, you get hurt, you lose close games, but you don't quit. This team never quit, they'll never quit. And I'm proud of you girls. Thanks for giving me a great season.
Picture. So, varsity will stay where you are until you come off the stage. Teachers are first. It was the most fun to get to stream our last few games at Nationals. Mrs. Tolbert gave me the privilege to do that, but you guys made it so fun. All right, varsity boys. Hey, I have good news. This is the last team.
Well, as Shelly said, we're here. Hang in, everybody. I've learned my role over the years, and that's to honor these guys as much as possible and do it as quickly as possible as well, because we've been here for a while. Now, first one, again, just like all the coaches, thank you to the family player, especially the parent in the room. Thank you, the rides, the food, the team dinners, the events. It doesn't happen without you guys. This year especially, you all went above and beyond and created something really special for these guys. We had a pancake breakfast at the beginning of the year with the younger levels, and that was one of my favorite moments. It was awesome to see these guys speak life, speak wisdom, speak experience into the younger levels, and speak to those guys on a personal level. Our culture night was another highlight. We had a chance to hear from the alumni, Ashish Cherian, thank you and all the alumni for pouring back into this program. Just continue to build what we're doing here. To all of our head coaches and assistant coaches across every level, thank you. You invest your time, your energy, and your hearts into these players. And that does not go unnoticed. I appreciate what you guys do, the patience that you have, breaking things down for each one of them to learn, to grow, to push themselves to new levels and to ready them for what they're going to face when they get to the high school level. I also want to personally thank all of you for your prayers, the gifts, the meals, and the support surrounding the arrival of our firstborn, Jameson Race 7. They meant more than you know, and I'm excited for Jameson to grow up around the Wildcat family. To my wife, thank you for supporting my coaching year in and year out, and also thank you for allowing me to coach less than 2 weeks after he was born. I'm incredibly grateful for that. So, we'll get into it. So this year was filled with incredible milestones. We had 2 players, Gideon and Aaron, surpass 1,000 career points. We were MCHC regular season champions and MCHC tournament champions. And we brought the state championship back home to the Wildcats. At Nationals, we finished 13th in Division I. The guys played well. We lost to a tough team in the Sweet 16. I was extremely proud of the way that they bounced back and finished Nationals. I've been part of teams as a player that checked out after a loss like that at Nationals. These guys kept fighting, and they did it with joy together. In my letter to the players, I talked about 2 things that were very clear about this team, and I think that anyone that watched would agree. 1, they were relentless. They fought to the very end. We were down in games, and then we went on runs and clawed our way back. They never stopped. They never backed down from anyone. At the start of the season, one of our mantras was to play to exhaustion. These guys would do that to the bitter end. Second, they were together. The love this team had for one another was real. It showed in all the hard moments, the pressure moments, and in every moment we got to spend with one another outside of basketball. That kind of brotherhood doesn't just disappear when the season ends. It is something lasting, and I'm so happy that they got to experience that. Relentless fighters who fight for one another. I'll take that combination any day of the week. I want to take some time to recognize a few individuals who stood out this season. This guy was a player, for our most valuable player, this guy was a player who at times would take over games and put the team on his back. The way this guy played with quickness and force was an absolute tough guard for any opponent. He made some truly spectacular plays and was a nightmare for opposing coaches to game plan for. He surpassed 1,000 points in his career, was the MCHC Conference MVP, named an ICBA State All-Star, and was named an NCHBC All-Region Player. He averaged about 18 plus points per game, and he put a lot of points on the board for us this year. He's that dude, Gideon over. Our most improved player. This player started out the year with a lot of raw skill and talent. He quickly embraced defensive concepts like jumping to the ball and helping the helper. I was truly amazed at how he picked some things up so quickly. He worked extremely hard, and anyone that watches him sees the grit and the heart that he plays with. In a game, we needed a way to go to the Sweet 16. We were behind pretty much the entire game until the 4th quarter. He came in, having not played any minutes, and completely changed the game for us. We needed rebounds and physicality, and I knew exactly we would be able to deliver that. Not only have his abilities grown over the year, but I've seen his knowledge of the game increase. I'm extremely excited to see what the summer brings for him, as I believe he will be a completely different animal come the start of next year. Most improved player is Jacob Truman. All right, for our defensive player of the year, Absolutely love this award. It stands for someone who is willing to do the dirty work. It requires passion, hard night in and night out. This person took on the toughest defensive assignments just about every game. He didn't just take them on, he delivered by disrupting some of the other team's best players. He was the MCHC Conference Defensive Player of the Year, and ICBA Indiana All-Star. I'm proud of not only the work that this young man has done for this team, with his skill on the court, most importantly, with his mental fortitude and attitude in a role that demands a lot from him. The Defensive Player of the Year award goes to Indy WIldcats. Now, I can't let this award go by without mentioning another young man that's cut from the same cloth in terms of his mindset and willingness to take on the hardest of challenges defensively. He plays with a fire and intensity that's infectious and never backs down from a challenge. I have an extreme amount of trust for him, and I'm excited for him to continue to perfect his craft. I will say once that nose is fully healed, I'm truly going to miss the mask. But a defensive honorable mention is Eli Batman Gordon. For the Christian Character Award, when I played, we called it the Wildcat Award, but it's always been something that we believe to be the highest award in our program. It means representation of the Wildcat way. This person is a natural born leader and has consistently represented time after time what the Wildcats are about. He accomplished some amazing feats this season, surpassing 1,000 points for his career, being named to an MCHC Conference First Team, winning the MCHC Leadership Award, being selected as an ICBA All-Star, and named to the NCHBC All-Region Team. Is that it? Did I miss anything? I can't say enough good things about this young man, and I look forward to watching him play in college next year. Your Christian Character Award winner is Andrew Gordon. Just want to do some other shout outs here. Ben Owen, if we had a funny guy award, then Ben would win, hands down. He was lively all season and helped keep guys engaged and having fun. He also hit some massive shots for us throughout the year, and the Nationals came down with a couple of very timely rebounds. He has been part of this program since the 10U level, and he's a Wildcat for the crew. It was a pleasure coaching you, and I wish you nothing but the best for the next chapter. Reese and Elijah, these two guys were in a difficult spot this year. Some games they would play a good amount and start, and other games they wouldn't. I coach a lot off field, and sometimes that gives us the best shot, and sometimes that leaves guys out who should have probably been in. They both responded, though, extremely well in those circumstances. When they got their time, they maximized and made the most. Elijah played with a defense intensity that I'm stoked to see grow, and his ability to score was on display multiple times. Reese used his length to create many deflection steals and blocks that not only set the tone, but also provided a security blanket for his teammates' mistakes. These two have all the tools and talent in the world at their disposal, and I foresee a massive summer ahead for both of them. Other teams truly don't know what they have coming towards them next year with these guys. I would not be surprised by any award or accolades that they earn next year. Johnny and Parm, as they dub themselves the bench buddies, are two players that spent most of their time on JV developing and taking on primary ball handling duties against heavy pressure. They were fantastic encouragers for our team and absolutely gave the starting five fits in practice. Johnny specifically had a couple of games at the varsity level where we needed him to step in and perform, and he did just that. This young man has been working diligently at his craft, and he's yet another guy that I believe will break out this coming season. I know myself and a lot of people are chomping at the bit to see him consistently on the floor in varsity jersey. Buy stock in Johnny now, you won't regret it. Mr. Parm here has the potential to fill some shoes for us next season with the shooting abilities. I'm excited for him to expand his game beyond that, but I think with a lot of work this summer, he can carve himself a role for us. In addition to that, I believe he will fulfill the funny guy guy role held by men. It was just big shoes to fill.
Pass the torch.
But overall, guys, it was a great season. I'm truly thankful that I got to coach this young group of men. A lot of great practices and pre-games, pre-practices spent doing devotions, talking about the Lord, hearing their perspective. They're just a great group of kids and young men, and I look forward to seeing what they do. The seniors going into their next chapter and what these guys that are coming back do next year. Now, to everyone returning 10U through 18U, the time is now. Let's get to work. Thanks.
All right, are we good? Oh, no, it's just, you are? No, make sure what you tell her. You need to squeeze into the blue.
There you go. Okay, you ready? Look back at the gallery.
So I want to take a second here just to let you know too that we have been recording this entire program. It will be uploaded on Indy WIldcats YouTube within the next 24 hours. And all of the pictures that Mrs. Owen is taking will also be put in a Google photo album for you. And we will email both those links out to you as soon as they're both ready to watch. So if you didn't get all the pictures, or you're like, darn, I should have taken more pictures. She was taking great ones back there, I promise. All right, now Mrs. Walker is going to talk about off-season stuff.
He's at the wit's end right now. I think I'm actually going to. Let me just like walk.
Okay, everybody, thank you for coming tonight. I really appreciate all of you. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what happens in the off-season. Some of you are new to the Wildcats, and some of you are returning players, but just wanted to go over something. We have some basketball clinics at the Barilla Family Center that we have exchanged volunteer hours for time in their gym this past season, and it's a great opportunity for us to reach out to that community and to work with the kids from the surrounding area. And it's also a good chance for the younger kids, ages 7 to about 13, to work on their basketball skills this summer. So there's already one that has happened, and there will be 5 more. So the dates are up there, and you have an email in your inbox somewhere that has all that information. We also need volunteers from our coaches to please sign up and just take one clinic and lead it. If you need help planning a clinic, you can ask Paul or anybody else who has done one, and they can kind of help you with. It's basically skills, drills, and have fun. And then we also need player volunteers for that as well. So if you have a free weekend, that's one of those weekends, please sign up to help. We also have a few cleaning days at Barilla to also fulfill our volunteer hours. It's really super easy. You just go in, we sweep, we clean the kitchen, we mop the floor, just super easy volunteer hours. If you could sign up for those emails, hit your inbox, that'd be great. And then we also have June Ball, which has already been mentioned, which is for varsity and JV boys, varsity and JV girls. More to come on that. I don't have all the details on that yet, but just look forward to that. And then we also have summer workouts that'll start mid-July, late July. Not sure exactly when. You have a note on that? Okay.
If you have not created an account on our website for the player handbook page, we do have a summer program in there for all the kids to just be able to track their progress.
So the summer workouts will probably be, last summer we had all ages on Saturdays, and then we had another day in the week, another night of the week for the older players. So keep an eye out for information on that as well. Please read your emails. That's my other plug here. Please read the email, and then you'll have all the information. So thank you all for coming, and
So we're gonna, oh, I forgot how loud this one was. We're gonna have the world premiere of this year's One Shining Moment video in about 2 minutes. So if you want to get situated closer to the screens, also my husband can come back and handle the lights. So that it's gonna get dark in here. So we're gonna give you 2 minutes to resituate yourselves to where you want to be to watch that. Make sure you can see one of the screens.
Go resituate.
Alright, can we get a countdown? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh no! It's not. Sorry, it's not. We have a new soundboard that we put in 3 weeks ago, and we're having 2 seconds each one.
Yeah, you can sit down and be quiet.
Karen, is that your slideshow music?
Huh?
Is that the slideshow music?
Yes.
Okay. That was unfortunate. Now at least I know the laptop is giving me sound. Alright, we're gonna try this again. Gold ball winners for their class. They have gone 5-0 at nationals. We're going to have a closing prayer. Mr. Dove is going to do that, so if we can have everybody be quiet and then we'll clean up and get out of here. But we're going to pray together one last time for the season.
Okay, we'll pray so real quick, and then I'll give some cleaning instructions, which we already started on. So, dear Lord, we just thank you for tonight. We thank you for all the effort that has been put in throughout the season here as the coaches, all the people that put in their time and effort. Lord, we just ask that you will bless us as we leave here. Help the children, all the kids that have played this year to be excited and ready for next season. I'm excited to put in the work in the summer. And Lord, as we've heard tonight, we know that you, none of this would be possible without you and what you have done for us. Lord, we pray that you will just continue to help us grow our attitudes. Help us as we proceed this week to Good Friday and Easter Sunday, and to keep you in our hearts and minds throughout the rest of this week. And Lord, we just pray for safety as we drive home tonight. Just watch over us. And it's in your son's name we pray. Amen. So real quick, just cleaning wise, trash, there's bins around. If we don't have enough room in the trash bins, go ahead and just fill it back. Tables will be put together. Round tables go in the back, and the chairs get stacked up and they go in the back as well. The board on the front or the backdrop will be available for pictures, so if you guys want to get pictures before you leave, you can take pictures on the backdrop. And I think that's about it.
Okay, just one note on the tables. Some tables go out to the lodge, so we need 8 round tables to go out to the lodge, a 6-foot table, and then 2 8-foot tables. be stacked up on, first night they be stacked up on the cart and taken to the lodge, and then we can stack the other way. And then we do need some tables to go upstairs to the children's rooms. We do want varsity boys to go up to the stage and get a picture with the conference trophy. So varsity boys and coaches, if possible, please go to the stage for a picture with the conference trophy. All the folding chairs will go behind the stage through the door that's between the stage and the kitchen door. So the stocking ones, we actually need a bunch of stocking chairs still out for services. So it's like 56 right here and 7 by 8 squares, same on the other side. Okay, and then we have like the wings. Oh, okay, so Mr. Barrow says we're going to sweep before we put the chairs back on, so, okay, I didn't know that.
Hey, if I don't see you again, see ya. I'll see you at the summer workout.
Yeah, well, you said you got it.
So So if we have the volunteers start vacuuming, it's over to the right of the sound booth, and we can go ahead and start with that.
Yes. David's only using one hand. Yeah, David doesn't anything.
You got I wish we had you all here on the TV. You'd have been, I think you improved drastically. You got doing it straight. Appreciate it. Thanks I don't know, unless I get asked, but I don't know.
I didn't mean like that.
And you had the old and he would get on the kids if they started getting kind of crazier than he was up there.
Oh, I
He
love
would.
to hear that.
He would.
Well, he was quite defensive. He would tell us.
You did a good job.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. Well, you got the. Because our problem, he was probably a play all year with us. He didn't get practice with us. He didn't get
Okay, all of the brown long tables, the liquor tables, they go behind the stage except 5 which need to go upstairs. So if you're willing to carry the tables upstairs, Benjamin Owen can show you where they are.
Yeah, he plays.
Are all of our seniors still in the room? If all of our seniors are still in the room, can you come up on stage for a picture?
Keep playing, play hard.
So, Aaron, Gideon, sidestep.
Happy night.
Aaron Gorley to the stage, please.